Hello, my name is Eric and I'm doing another one of my photography vlogs called One Body, One Lens, One Roll, One Day. I am out early on a May morning. It's a little nippy out here, hasn't warmed up yet, still kind of clouds in the sky, but sun hopefully will be breaking through pretty soon. I am here at Plum Creek North, which is a park between Medina and Brunswick, Ohio. Been here a couple times. Figured I'd swing by here on my way to work and shoot this episode up, and then keep going so I can turn the roll of film in. Today's camera, I went really classic. I went to the Pentax K1000. This was one of a few cameras that actually was in production for almost 20 years and had a couple of variations. There was most of them were made in Japan, probably the first 17 years. Then I think for a year or two was Hong Kong, and then like maybe the last year or two it was made in China. They went a little plasticky on the Chinese one, so I'm not so impressed with them, where the winder crank and the rewind cranks were plastic rather than metal. This is actually a Japanese one because it's all metal. The lens is a classic 50mm f2. So I'm kind of really old school here. Now the Pentax K1000, the nice thing is it's all mechanical shutter, so you can shoot at any shutter speed you want without having to worry about your battery or anything like that. Now the battery does operate the needle meter inside, and if you don't have a battery in it, the needle doesn't move, and you'll just have to rely on Sunny 16. This camera really does not have an on-off switch, so you really can't turn off the battery per se with a switch. The way you kind of turn this camera off is you put a lens cap on front of the lens, or you put a black body cap on if you don't have a lens on it. So the meter is not responding to anything, so it saves your battery power. I don't remember if I have a battery in this, but I don't have a lens cap, so even if I do have a battery, even if I do have a battery in it, this battery's shot. So I will be running Sunny 16, and I'm going to modify that for two different reasons. One, I have got some expired Fuji 400 extra film, probably about 20 years old, just because the stuff that I bought, some other camera equipment with it, the 2000s, so I'm assuming that's a roll of film from that batch. And I don't know how it's going to keep, so I'm going to do my two-stop exposure comp. The other thing is it's not a sunny day. It's kind of a slightly overcast because the sun hasn't made it through the clouds yet. So instead of Sunny 16 for a 100 ISO, not the 400 I've got it, I'm going to pull it back about 3 stops. So I'm going to be shooting at about 5.6 at about a 60th of a second. Actually, I might flip to 125. If I go underneath the trees a bit, I might open it up to like full 2.8 or even f2. All right, I'm going to get some shots around here, and then I'm going to go take a walk in the park. Enjoy the video. Now, back in the day when there was a whole bunch of different films, each film had their tendencies. Kodak film, by nature, tended to be a little on the warm side, so your yellows, maybe your oranges would have a little extra saturation to them. Fuji, it would be more the cooler tones, maybe blues, greens, maybe a little bit more of the purples had a little bit more richness to them. AGFA film, which you don't see much anymore. It was a very hot tone film, so the reds and the oranges would pop really much. Konica was very cool tone, so it was more on the blues and wouldn't have so much of the oversaturated, more just kind of more neutral. Now the current Fuji stock, I've heard, and I don't know if this is 100% true, that it's rebandaged Kodak film, so it may not have the extra kick and greens that I'm used to, but that's okay. You know, films change, things change. Now, this Pentax lens is one of the SMC coated lenses, so it has that extra coatings on all the elements on both sides that I mentioned in the previous episode, which does give me a little extra kick too. So combination with maybe an older roll of Fuji, which I'm hoping has a little bit of a green boost, and the SMC glass on this, I'm hoping this greenery is going to show, you know, a nice vibrant green rather than a timid green. But we'll see what happens in developing, because again, this is some old film, 100% don't know how it was kept, so here's hoping. Now, most companies had multiple versions of their 50mm lens. Pentax had like 5 versions of this lens, besides the coatings and stuff like that. There's the 50 F2, which was designed to be the student's lens. It was rather inexpensive, decently fast, and relatively inexpensive. The catch is, to me, it's not quite as sharp. It was kind of designed to be put out there as a price point lens, not really their better work. The 1.8 was a little better. You know, always ran a little extra for the 1.8. I do like the 1.7s and the 1.4s of this series, of the SMC and SMC-A series by Pentax. They did make a 1.2. I've shot through one of them once, but it had some stuff on the inside, so there was a little bit of softness, but I'm not sure if it was because of the junk that was inside or just the tendencies of that lens. Tried to repair it, didn't work. The thing was kind of dinged up just enough that I couldn't get the pieces apart to clean it out and check. So I sold it to somebody else that could, you have better luck tearing it apart. All right, I'm going to keep going down this path, see what else I can get. Not lots of nice greenery. I might have to come back here with a roll of infrared film. This would be really cool with some infrared film. So now's a good time to be shooting that stuff. All right, be right back. All right, that's the end of my roll. I'm going to rewind it. Reminder with the old manual ones, hit and hold the peg underneath. Do your rewinding. Usually about as many shots as you had on your roll film is about how many winds it's going to take to rewind it. And then when it lets go, you pop your back open. Alrighty, I'm going to go turn this in. And if you like the location, if you like the camera, like the shots at the end, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it, feel free to comment on it, your experience with Fujifilm, either the classic stuff, and this was again Superior Extra, probably 20 years out of date, so I'm shooting it pulled back to ISO 100 versus 400. Classic Pentax K1000, this is like one of the industry standards for student cameras because you can't cheat with this guy. Standard classic 50 F2. Plum Creek North between Brunswick and Medina, Ohio. And I'll see you next episode.